Let's talk about the smartphone war. So let's talk about the smartphone war. In today's world, you've either really got two choices. You've got iPhone 4, 4S, whatever, 5 and 5 when it comes out, new radical design change, or you've got Android. Now, there's a whole sort of Android fan base, there's a whole iOS fan base. Oh, you're an Apple fanboy, you're an Android fanboy. Well, you get that a lot. I probably get the whole Apple fanboy quite a lot, if I'm brutally honest. I have an iPhone 4, I have my Mac, I have an Apple TV now, and most of my products seem to be Apple related, which doesn't really put me in good light. So yes, if you really want to, yes, you could define me as an Apple fanboy. However, this shouldn't mean that because I am an Apple fanboy, that you should hate me. Just because I have Apple products doesn't mean that I don't appreciate other products on the market. For example, Android phones. I think actually I've messed about with a whole load of Android phones, and actually some of them are pretty good. You know, you've got the whole customization thing. You can customize everything you could possibly want, and does everything that the iPhone would do. You still have this sort of App Store type sort of environment where you can download anything you want, and the possibilities are endless on Android and on iOS, except our iOS is just a bit sort of closed off and sort of comfy, and it's sort of a bit like this whole PC Mac war, which I might actually say for another video, but it's more down to what you prefer. I mean, people go with iOS because it's quite comfortable, it's easy to use, they don't have to worry about anything, it's just all there for them. Android, people who like to mess about, do things and just create and change everything they want to, they should go with Android. I mean, I have actually thought on a couple of occasions I should go over to Android, but I don't know. Now that I have an iPhone, everything is now integrated. So it's integrated with my Mac, it's integrated with my Apple TV. Everything is just sort of one, and everything comes together. And actually, I quite like that. I like the fact that everything sort of comes together. Whereas if I had Android, I'd have to start sort of all over again. All the apps I've downloaded on my iPhone, I would have to re-download on Android. I would have to re-download Angry Birds, Fruit Ninja. I'd have to re-download the Facebook thing. I would have to do everything all over again, and I would have to waste money, actually. When actually I've got it all on my phone already, and there's no, it's still on the floor. There's no need for me to go over to Android. I have no need to go over at the moment. iPhone, there's nothing wrong with my iPhone at all. It's not breaking or anything like that, so why should I go over? One main problem that I have with Android, though, is that it's so fragmented. Android is fragmented over so many different devices that when you go, if an average consumer were to go into a shop, so let's say he or she was not a tech person, we go into a shop. Oh yes, I'd like to buy a phone, please. Sure, what kind of phone would you like? Oh, I'd like to get an Android phone. I've heard they're pretty good. And then you get offered all this massive selection of phones, and actually it's a little bit overwhelming. You know, you go up to you go look at them and you're like, well, they're all the same. And then the guy goes, they're not. And then you go sort of, well, why aren't they different? And then you realize that they all have these different operating systems on, which are actually sort of the same. And the fact that it's so fragmented really puts me off. Just that little bit. It's a bit too much. I don't want to have to wait for updates for certain things. Don't want to have to wait for the latest software, or actually find out that my phone cannot ever run the latest software. It's just irritating, you know. And when they say, oh yes, we've got this new great thing out, it's called Jelly Bean, and it's going to come to all the phones sometime soon, and then by the time all the phones have Jelly Bean, the next one has come out, and you sort of sat there, you're like, I just got Jelly Bean, and now I have to wait. And that would annoy me. I don't know about you, but that would annoy me. I mean, I guess if you were, I don't know, you know? But that's a flaw with Android, I think. Now many of you are probably thinking, well, what about the flaws with iOS? Well, iOS is very bog standard. You can't really do much to it unless you jailbreak it. And the App Store is quite a walled garden, as it were. And it's, you know, quite restrictive. It's a fairly small screen. You know, I mean, it's good. It's basic. It does what you want it to do. But the customization isn't quite there yet. I mean, but for me, it's fine. It's fine. But, you know, they both definitely have their errors and flaws. Again, though, this whole thing of Android, if you're an Android user, it doesn't matter. You know, people should just quit their complaining and shut up and get on with their lives. It's a phone. This thing calls people. It texts people. Woohoo! Fantastic. We can communicate with people. I love communicating with people. Communicating with people is great. And that's essentially what these things were originally designed for. Phoning people and texting people. You know, and everything else in there is just a big plus. Angry Birds? It's just a big distraction to keep you from, you know, getting bored on your daily commute into work or school or whatever. You know, they've just become unnecessary. I don't really use my phone actually that much for games and sort of. So if I want to go on a game, I'll go on my Xbox. It's just a lot easier, you know. And I don't know. I mean, I think people at this whole sort of war should just sort of go, okay, 2 phones. One is a bit closed off, iOS. One is a bit more open and I can be more creative. Go with what you want, you know. And I don't really want all that customization, he said with a jailbroken iPhone. Anyway, what are your thoughts on this whole sort of smartphone war? Where do you stand? iOS? Do you stand Android? Or do you go with BlackBerry or Windows Phone 7? Because, you know, Windows Phone 7 is actually quite a big thing, and I've had a mess about with Windows Phone 7 too. And actually, I quite like it. I'm just not really a massive fan of the whole Metro design type thing, which is also going to be in, like, the new Windows. It's not really me. I get a bit confused, what can I say? But, you know, what do you think? I think personally Apple and Android are pretty equal. RIM with BlackBerry I think are losing it a little bit because my mum got a BlackBerry playbook, and I've been sort of helping her try and set up everything like that. The bookstore thing doesn't work. You actually have to download books off the internet. You can't download it through the app. The Wi-Fi keeps reconnecting itself to different Wi-Fis around us and doesn't like our own home network, even though our home network is completely fine and up to date. But hey, you know, where do you stand? What are you using? Do you like it? Would you want to change? Tell me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, anyway, so I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye. Slowly the Titanic sinks. You're gonna land on my laptop. Good. Just what I need. Kaplan.